All right, let's continue this build. All right, I told you we were going to make ourselves a set of clubs, and I've already made the 2 of the 3 sets. And what did we do prior to that? We weighed all the heads on our scale. I weighed all the shafts on our scale. I also found the spine on a spine finder. And what I did is, get a little closer this time for you, I take this and I put that in this vise, okay? So what do? While it's in the vise, I stick it through the machine and then I pull down on it. If it's got a really hard spine, it'll turn, okay? And I pull down with it like this, right? And it bends. Now, when it does, the hard spot goes to the top, and what I do is I draw a line. I don't know if you can see it, but I draw a line, just goes straight up like that. And I do that to all these shafts. So that's the beginning of spine finding. And when they talk about spine finding, that was it in a nutshell. The only problem is you got to do spine finding, you got to do flowing together. That way you have a balanced club. So the question is, why am I showing you all of this? I show you about weighing. We've done that in a couple of videos. I've shown you about spine finding in other videos and putting it together in other videos. Well, everybody's beating the drum about custom fitting. And sure, you got to get custom fit because you want the equipment to work for you. You don't buy a sledgehammer to do a job of a 16-ounce ball peen hammer. You just don't do that. Same thing in golf clubs. You go pick them off the rack. There is at least going to be 2, 3, 4, even 5, maybe more parameters on that golf club that are not right for you. The fitting is an educational type evolution where you find out what it is you need and why you need it. Now, we've gone through all that and we've got the equipment selected. So why is this so important? Well, you know, they put more emphasis on the fitting than they do the build. The build is just as important as the fit, because if I put this all together wrong, then it's just no different than pulling it off the rack. Because if I just put it together and I don't look at it, then this shaft could be 3 times higher than it needs to be, and that's what the club fitter and club builder put together. They check all the shafts to make that they're right. They check all the heads to make sure that they're right. We do all the frequency matching to make sure you get the same club or the same kind of frequency, same flex in every club, so everything acts the same. So we're taking out all the inconsistencies in this equipment and then putting the onus basically on you. All right, but if you have it inconsistent, and they always talk about, well, why do you need to have this? Because your swing changes all the time. True, your swing does change from time to time because of landscape, wind speed, whether you're tired or not, those kinds of things. But if your equipment is not balanced, it's going to throw you that much further out. So you might as well have the right equipment, and then that way it makes your job easier on a golf course. I mean, studies have shown you get the right equipment and your score starts to drop all by its lonesome. All right, so that's the reason why these builds are that important, especially like for Russ Ortiz, who is using an X-Flex. You know, that guy's a professional baseball pitcher. Those guys are athletes, and you know they're swinging hard because baseball guys have fast hands. They're coming around hard, and you got to have the right stuff in those clubs. Same thing with LJ and Logan. Those guys are young guys. They're strong. They're swinging hard, and you got to have the right stuff in the right club. So not one of these 3 sets are made the same. That's the reason why we do all this. Okay. So what I've done is I've weighed all these and I've got them weight sorted out where I want them to go. I've already put the first head in, and what I do is I turn it on and I get a reading. And it tells me my reading. And so for my length, I go up for my reading, and I want to be in the stiff range for this guy. And I'm about a quarter of the range into the stiff range for that. And for the top end, I'm good with that. And I build to a quarter of a flex max. So with this could be my low end, and going to the middle of the range could be my high end. So that's what we've got there. So we've got that one figured out. So now we're going to find, we talked about the spine finding, right? So now we're going to do the flowing. and the FLOing flat line oscillation. And basically, for telling on myself, it's basically a poor man's version of SST. And if you see that line going straight up and down, that's how this thing's going to flex through the swing. And that's what you want it to do. So how do I make sure that that's going to work? I draw a line. Draw a line right here. I draw a line right there. So when I go to put it together, I match them up, and voila, they're done. So now I need to do that 8 more times. I'm going to do that 8 more times. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to trim a little bit off on this one. And then I'm going to put this head in there, and I'm going to go for the same frequency line as before, frequency matched. Now that the weights are really good, the heads are really good, now my swing weights and my total weights will be really, really good too. So you saw me what I had to do. I had to cut it. I wanted to really keep this short so we can keep going to the next ones and just have these little snippets on why things are important. Now finally, I didn't really give 2G Golf or 2G Apparel, 2GG Apparel, their rightful due. The 2 charities that they also do is, it's called Feed My Starving Children and Josie's Angels. It's part of with the local children's hospital there. Those are the other 2 that they truly give to. Worthy causes to be sure. So if you end up buying one of these really nice shirts that are like this is called Sunday, obviously red, okay, then they give some to these charities. Very, very worthwhile. So keep in mind that the custom fit is really good, but the custom build is just as important. You get those 2 together, find a guy certified, and if you don't know anybody, you know, in your neck of the woods, I may. Send me an email. Ask me if I know anybody in those particular areas. Or you can go to the International Club Fitters Guild, and they have a list of people that are certified in their areas. Okay. So if you like this informational stuff that's going on here, subscribe if you don't mind. Okay. If you like it, like the video. You know, that's what makes these things keep going. If you got any questions about this, why do we build like this? What's so important about FLOing? What's so important about weight sorting? Ask. I'll tell you. It's not a secret. And when it's all said and done and you got the right equipment in there with the right fit, then your scores can go low.